When you get rich, tell no one. I know, it sounds a little paranoid, right? Like something you'd hear at a family gathering. But what if it's actually one of the smartest financial moves you could ever make? Today, we're diving into this powerful idea of stealth wealth, and it really all starts with one simple question about what being rich even looks like.
So, let's do a quick thought experiment. If you suddenly got millions of dollars, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? Be honest. Is it a flashy sports car, a huge mansion, maybe just being able to walk into a designer store and not even bother looking at the price tags? Whatever it is, hold on to that image, because it's absolutely key to all of this. And that thought experiment leads us right to this incredibly sharp insight. You see, there's a massive difference between being rich and just trying to look rich. One of these paths leads to real, lasting freedom, and the other? Well, it often leads to a kind of high-interest prison where you're just trapped by appearances. Getting this difference is the whole secret. Now, this is where it gets really clear. On one hand, you have looking rich. That's all about the outside stuff, the status symbols, impressing other people, getting that external validation. And a lot of the time, it's funded by a mountain of debt. But then you have being rich, and that's all internal. It's about freedom, it's about security, and it's about having options that nobody else even needs to know about. It's building something that actually lasts.
So what happens when you get caught up in looking rich? Well, you start telling the world about your success. And that brings us to this critical point. Putting your wealth on display doesn't just attract opportunity, it also attracts opportunists. It basically paints a giant target on your back.
And that target? It attracts all sorts of problems you never had to think about before. All of a sudden, you're a prime target for burglars and, those really sophisticated scammers. You're more likely to face lawsuits. Your relationships can get all twisted up with jealousy and resentment. And you can get trapped in this thing called the appearance prison, where you're just working your tail off to maintain an image for other people.
And if you think this is all just theory, look at the tragic story of Jack Whitaker. Back in 2002, he won a massive $314 million lottery jackpot. He did the exact opposite of being stealthy. He was famous for being incredibly generous in public. The result? It was catastrophic. His life unraveled into divorce and family tragedy, and he later said that showing off his fortune literally destroyed his life.
This is the subtle poison of being visibly wealthy. The people closest to you can start to feel, entitled. That cousin you haven't spoken to in 10 years, suddenly they're calling asking for a temporary lawn. Every single interaction gets colored by this question. Do they actually like me for me, or do they just like my money?
Okay, so if showing off your wealth is a total trap, filled with risk and drama, what's the alternative? What's the powerful strategy that the truly wealthy use to keep both their money and their peace of mind?
Well, it's this idea called stealth wealth, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's the practice of building up significant wealth, but on the outside, you keep living a pretty modest lifestyle. You drive a normal, reliable car, you live in a nice but not flashy house, and you avoid that lifestyle creep that gets so many people into trouble. The bottom line is, you have the wealth, but nobody knows it.
I absolutely love this analogy. Practicing stealth wealth is like being a financial superhero, just walking around in regular clothes. You have this incredible secret power, this knowledge that you've basically escaped the system, but to the rest of the world, you're just another person. And that right there is a true superpower.
And the benefits of flying under the radar?
Oh, they are huge. You get to have genuine relationships because people like you for you. When a plumber comes to your house, they give you an honest quote because they don't see a walking ATM. You get to see people's real character, you dodge all that jealousy and pressure, and you actually keep your edge in any business deal.
This little analogy just nails the whole journey. Okay, so at level 1, you cut your own grass because, you have to. Then at level 2, you've got some money, so you pay someone to do it. It's a small status symbol, right? But at level 3, when you are truly, truly wealthy, you start cutting your own grass again. And why? Because you can. Because true wealth isn't about paying people to do things for you. It's about having the freedom to do exactly what you want to do with your time.
So the whole point is this: the goal of money is not to impress your neighbors or your followers on social media. The real, ultimate goal of money is to buy back your time. It's a tool that you use to create options and secure your freedom to live your life completely on your own terms.
So how do you even get there? Well, a really simple way to think about it is something called your freedom figure.
First, just figure out the annual income you'd need to live your ideal life. Got it? Okay. Now multiply that number by 25. That number is your target. It's the amount you'd need in an investment portfolio to, in theory, fund your life forever without ever having to touch the original amount.
All right, so what does that look like in the real world? Let's say your freedom figure is $5 million. A portfolio designed to preserve that wealth might look something like this. And notice, the goal here isn't about risky, high-growth bets anymore. It's about building a diversified, income-generating machine with stocks, bonds, real estate that just spins off cash. The idea is to live off the interest, not the principal.
And once you adopt this mindset, it completely changes what you spend your money on. The show-off is buying things that lose value, like fancy cars and designer clothes just to keep up an image. The stealthy spender, they're investing in things with real lasting value, assets that grow, their health, their comfort, and amazing experiences with the people they actually care about.
Because this, right here, is what true wealth actually buys you. It's not a car, it's not a watch. It is waking up on a Tuesday morning and having complete and total control over your day. It's the quiet confidence knowing that you can handle any emergency life throws at you. It's having the time to be truly present with your friends and family. And it's having the power to be generous when you decide to be, not because you feel pressured.
And ultimately, it all comes down to this really beautiful idea. Real wealth isn't loud and flashy, it's quiet. It is the peace of mind you get from having no bad debt, no constant financial stress, and no drama in your life. It is a feeling of security that you just can't buy with a logo.
So the big takeaway here is this. True prosperity isn't about what you own. It's about what doesn't own you. Not a job you hate, not crippling debt, and definitely not the expectations of other people. That's the real prize. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What does that kind of freedom really look like for you?